can someone stop this crazy train, please? I want to get off. Like, can this insanity ever stop? Like, this seems to be nothing short of mental hysteria. What is going on social media, what a lot of people are doing right now is unreal. Like, they're using a children's cartoon in order to make the argument that there shouldn't be a police force. Now, normally I would ignore this because it's like, well, crazy's gotta be crazies, whatever. But as they're pointing out, like, you have diverse group of organizers, so activists, academics, and even politicians that are considering that the institutions of policing and incarcerations are problematic and they need to get rid of. Like, there are city councilmen that actually suggest that they should get rid of the police station and replace them with hotlines. So, for example, if you're an addict, you can call a hotline and they will try to improve and work with you, so you stop doing that. I don't know what you would do, like, if it's a burglar, like, does he call a hotline and there's someone trying to calm him down? Like, I don't know how it's going to work, but the fact that they're talking about it is quite interesting. What they're actually doing, though, is they are going to make security only for the wealthy, only for the rich, because I can guarantee to you, those people at city council, they have security details. The rich live in gated communities. They can have security officers at the gate. They're not going to have problems with this. The people that are going to have problems with this and figure it out for themselves are the poor people. So yeah, no, like, they're actually talking about dismantling police station. Now, I don't want to talk about it here, but I'm looking at the arguments they're doing, and all of these are leftist arguments which fail to understand the human emotion. They fail to understand criminals, and as a person that went to law school and actually did go to prisons and talked with convicts as part of my training, I can tell you how far and detached these academics and these organizers and these politicians are. I am willing to bet they haven't set a single foot in a prison and talked with a prisoner in their entire life. They do not know. Like, all they talk about is from an ideological position. But they never actually go there in the muck. They never actually go to neighborhoods and ask people about it. They never try to understand what the issue is. So let's read the article, and we're going to analyze and see, like, you don't even need to be an expert. Like, if you just happen to live in the hood, like I grew up with, in a dangerous neighborhood where the cops don't go down there, you'll understand why people commit crimes. Like, it's a no-brainer. But anyway, so the first one is they give the example of Steven Universe as a model, I suppose, for the United States. Now, it's really funny if you know that Steven Universe's creator made a comic book that is pornographic in nature and has Ed, and Eddie doing unspeakable things to each other. Now, I'm not the one to judge, but when it comes to organizing how a society runs, I don't think we should get tips from these types of people, you know? Just saying, I mean, that's just my opinion, okay? Like, if I want to learn how to make some delicious muffins in the oven, you know, maybe the creator of Steven Universe is the person to call on, but when it comes to organizing society, I think there should be some level of morality, and just someone that draws Ed, and Eddie in interesting connotations might not be the type of person to act. But hey, this is just me, you know, this is just the bigot thinking. Anyway, so in Steven Universe, Steven and the other crystal gems use bubbling to hold stasis the gem monsters they defeat. Unlike incarceration, bubbling doesn't actively harm the gem monster. What the fuck do you mean it doesn't harm it? You're isolating it from the rest of the gem monster community, I suppose. And you're imprisoning it. Like, that is harm. And by the way, you know what's really disgusting about this? That there is actually a conversation to be had about private prisons in the United States. But these people are poisoning it. Like, I'm not going to have the conversation anymore. Like, I don't want to be put up with a bunch of crazy people that use Steven Universe as a blueprint for how to shape American society. Like, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. But anyway, so the monstered bodies that the crystal gems should seek to heal the corruption described by Garnet as a tear in the fabric of the mind that causes the gems to turn into monsters rather than bubble them indefinitely. So Stephen discovers that the gem monsters were corrupted by experience of violence. Okay, so this is what the left thinks about criminals, and it's so fucking wrong. Okay, they believe that every single criminal, or at least the overwhelming majority of them, do crimes because society has hurt them in a way. Whether it is that they grew up in a dysfunctional family, or it's the system of systemicisms of racismus that are causing people to lash out in a certain way, okay? This is what the left believes. Basically, very rarely, it is the person's fault. It's society to blame. And if you can change society, you will get rid of crime. False. There are indeed people that do lash out and they are violent because they do have certain problems. I'm not going to lie. Yes, like someone who grows up in a dysfunctional family, there are studies that show that when he grows up, he might reproduce that violence. That is true. But then you also have people that commit crimes because they want to get wealthy. So, for example, a person that takes a bribe, that is corruption. He's not doing it because he grew up in a dysfunctional family. Or a person that steals money from his business. And you can just go all the way. And then you have crimes of passion. Where, you know, a person goes home and finds his significant other bouncing on some other man's pogo and he becomes violent. That is a crime of passion. You also have certain crimes that have to do with honor. For example, when you go into a gang, in most cases in the United States, you probably don't hear about this on television because they don't even care about gang violence anymore. But you have like the Bloods and the Crips, and it's blood in, blood out, meaning that when you want to get in the gang, you need to commit a crime. And when you want to get, and if you want to get out of the gang, the only way you do it is in a coffin. So what happens is like these people, they get into gangs, they have tattoos in order to display the colors and the affiliations of the gang. And then when they go to prison, they still have to commit crimes if the shot caller tells them to. So this is like it's not that a person is broken or mentally unstable or whatnot. Like he commits crimes because he knows that if he doesn't, the other gang members are going to shank him. To reduce all criminals to the same common denominator and say that, oh no, it's just like they're misunderstood. I'm sorry to say, but it's leftarded. I'm going to make up a new word, leftarded. Like, it is a different universe of retardism that only leftists are capable of. It is so ridiculous. And then you also have crimes done because of ideological reasons, like, you know, someone flying a plane into a couple of buildings. He does it because of religious reasons that he genuinely believes he's going to end up in heaven after doing this. Like, to just say that, oh no, it's just like they're misunderstood. It's like, yeah, maybe for some, you know, and then there are even people that are mentally broken, like sadists and, you know, people that commit acts of rape and other types of violence, like serial killers and whatnot. Like, do you honestly think that it's so simple to just, all right, well, let's stop incarcerating them and just have a pleasant conversation? Like, that is wild. And they also use this ideology and try to apply it to schools. I talked about it yesterday, about a teacher which posted on Reddit that if she sees a kid destroying a classroom, like, that kid needs love. No, that kid needs discipline, because today he's destroying a classroom, tomorrow he's destroying a neighborhood. He needs to fear the stick. And after he fears the stick, then you give him the love and compassion. But like first you get him to stop. And you get him to understand it's unacceptable, because destroying a classroom means he ruins it for others. I keep getting like this example that is just bewildering to me, that it's acceptable for someone to destroy if he is outraged. And they usually give the example of a child. Like, if you're in a school and the teacher is oppressive and the kid starts destroying the school, that is the voice of the unheard. It's like, no, first of all, you're legitimizing school shootings with this mentality, you dumb bitch. And secondly, it makes it bad for the other students. You're not taking it to the teacher, you're taking it to the other students. You're destroying their... whatever. And it's infantilizing, you know, like you can't compare grown adults with kids. It's just. So anyway, Stephen recognizes that these antagonists' harmful behavior was usually rooted in various traumatic experiences, right? So is this mentality that's like, oh no, the only reason people are bad is because they're misunderstood, or they gone through traumatic experiences or whatnot. And even if that was the case, like, do you think I give a shit if some person tries to rob my house, like breaks into the middle of the night? Do you think I care? Why is the reasoning he is doing it? And if anyone thinks I should, how would you like it if it was in your house? I remember, like, there was this talk show in 2004. I forgot which one. Was in Romania. And it talked about this really bad situation where a homeowner, because the city hall messed up and tried to place a homeless family in his house. And it was like this legal misunderstanding, and the other family, they were really poor and they were in a precarious condition, but it wasn't their fault. Like the city hall mistakenly placed them in a house that was already occupied. So the man sued, and these people were homeless until the lawsuit was over. And people in the crowd started judging the man. It's like, why don't you let them just stay with you? Why don't you just allow them to stay? And the man asked, like, anyone else in the crowd wants to take them home tonight? Not a single person lifted their hand. And it's like this thing, it's like, not in my backyard type of people, I think, are the most annoying people on the face of the planet. Like, they will cast moral judgment on others, but the moment it's being done to them, they're like, not in my backyard. So now we're going to Shira. The protagonist similarly avoids a retributive response to characters who engage in harmful behavior. Scorpia and letter Catra. I'm sorry, I don't watch leftardism, so I do not know these names. But then again, I don't watch children cartoons in general because I'm grown up. Are welcomed into the rebellion once they make a commitment to abandon the horde. And just as in Steven Universe, there is no clear delineation between bad and good. Yeah, this is a stereotype in all leftardist shows. They really hate making a division between bad and good. Like, literally, if you look at Riot right now, like when Riot started out, like League of Legends, they had Demacia as being the good guys and Noxus being the bad guys. Okay, no, that's not the case anymore. Noxus is actually more complicated. It's more nuanced. It's more with social justice, and it's a lot more about ladder climbing and fighting against the hierarchy. And Demacia, oh, that is a very hierarchical and tyrannical system. And it's like, oh God, just like, stop it. Just stop. It's okay. Like what I'm saying, it's okay to have shows that have like clear definitions of good and clear definitions of bad. Like Superman is a clear definition of good. The Joker is a clear definition of bad. It's okay to have these things. It's okay. Like you don't have to run away from them. Especially if they're in cartoons where children have to learn that some things are good and some things are bad. You don't need to complicate it for them. But anyway, this is not to say that the reintegration of one of these characters back in the community is effortless or blah blah blah. So like, what is the solution, right? Like, give people magical powers and have them fight crime? It's like, okay, you're talking again about a children's cartoon and how they deal with things there. But in reality, this is what also annoys me with a lot of left-leaning activists. They're against the Second Amendment as well. So they're against if people just want to buy guns in order to defend their property. That's not a good thing. Police force, that's not a good thing. It's like, how do you want? It's like, oh, just be compassionate and understanding towards criminals. It's like, what if they don't want compassion and understanding? What if they just want to steal shit and get rich? I'm one of the few that calls these things out because I legitimately think people are afraid. Like right now, if you call it out or you speak against the status quo, you get either mobbed by an army of people that are trying to dox you, find out who you are, you risk losing your job or whatever. But in reality, I think a lot of people are going to vote in a very interesting manner the next elections because the vote is secret and people don't lose their jobs when they go to vote. So we'll see. You know, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong in the past. But I don't think this is one time that I'm going to be wrong. Tell me what you think in the comment section, and I'll see you guys there.